Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Fans in Motion podcast, the only podcast you didn't know you needed. I say to all my friends, in honor of Memorial Day, there's an old soldier dreaming of his younger days, so many lives he saved, and all he sees is those who slipped away. Say hello, Josh.
Yo, it's amazing you had that memorized.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know the song, Josh?
I wasn't even listening to you, man. It's like we're in a relationship.
Exactly.
I just heard you stop talking and I just respond. Yeah.
That was Truth, the song went by the mighty Night Ranger itself. Brentry, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. How you all doing?
Well, I'm good. I'm a little hot down here in the bunker. Lisa, how's life treating you?
Pretty good.
Your screen looks much better.
Yeah, we're so far so good.
All righty. And Rockin' Robin, how's Northern Ohio treating you? Awesome. Can't hear a word you're saying.
Right.
Yeah, you're gone.
My bad.
Now,
awesome.
Rockin' Robin.
Yeah,
The
I wish all
weather's
women
been
came with that
awesome.
option.
Yeah.
And Josh wonders why he has issues.
So, Josh, we're all gathered here. It's a night to record. Apparently, we're talking about some Night Ranger stuff. Do you have anything you want to tell us about what we're going to talk about?
We're going to talk about Night Ranger stuff on the Night Ranger podcast. We're going
just a little bit of Springsteen, mostly Night Ranger.
We rooted around in the old books a little bit, see what topic we come up with. And this is what we came up with. We are going to talk about our Night Ranger and other ticket buying experiences from the 80's and 90's. Maybe Robin can talk to us about her ticket buying experiences in 2017. But yeah, for those who bought tickets back then, it's definitely a different world now. And for those who are younger and never experienced it, it's going to be like, us talking about horse and carriages and, basically Flintstone shit. So
be a bunch of back in my day.
Yeah.
It was actually possible to get a front row seat.
Yeah. So
without a second mortgage.
So we'll just kick it right off. So Andy and Brent, do you guys remember the first concert tickets that you bought yourselves?
Yeah, Brent.
Well, my parents bought my Loverboy ticket.
Yeah.
It was my Kiss ticket, Kiss Night Ranger ticket.
Yeah.
So you went to the Ticketron and
Andy's mom did. She worked at Sears in the optometrist department. It's her birthday today, by the way, isn't it?
It is.
Yes. Happy birthday, Mom. Andy's mom, anyway. But I remember we would give her the money, and she was friends with the lady that ran the customer service desk, and she would pull the tickets if we couldn't,
Yeah, before the doors opened to the masses.
Yeah. Didn't always get great ones.
Yeah, so we just still didn't get great seats for that. But I don't think my mom nor the 70-year-old lady running the Ticketron thing knew what she was doing. It was just print, not, hey, find the best seats available. It was just 2 tickets, got it, or 3 tickets, got it.
Well, even before, you had the Ticketmaster and the Ticketrons and all that, it used to be the venues would sell the tickets themselves. So the, I guess, advantage to that was you could camp out front of the venue, and when they went on sale, you would get first dibs. I mean, I'm on Elvis pages and stuff, and they always show, pictures people had of the lines, waiting to get Elvis tickets. Now, that's the good thing. The bad thing is, hey, I live an hour and a half away. I want tickets. You got to hope they do something over the phone.
Yeah.
And you would mail, money and have them, they would cash your check and mail you tickets back. So you had no clue. I did that for an NFL game still in the 90's. you would you would mail a check and mark what tickets you wanted and send that in.
Josh, I would say in the 90s, you probably could have walked right up to the box office and got a good Bengals seat.
Well, it wasn't the Bengals. I was buying
I was like,
Steelers tickets to see the Bengals, but it was Pittsburgh.
oh,
And I mean, internet there, there was this would have been 1997. So internet's in its infancy.
yeah.
I don't even know. I mean, I'm sure the Steelers probably had some type of website, but back then you weren't really buying stuff online. So you could probably call the venue. I don't think they went through Ticketmaster at the time. But tickets go on sale at a certain date, and you would get the brochure or whatever and the packet, and you would mark what ticket you wanted. Maybe it wasn't the it was the Steelers, because what happened was the game was sold out still, and they mailed back my check.
Oh.
But anyways, so you had that.
Well, and the caveat to that back in the day, don't you? Those tickets were already pre-printed. So when you showed up, they had the best stuff available going. I remember going to Reds games. You could only get tickets for Reds games at Riverfront Stadium. And you go to their box office and they would reach behind the wall and grab a book of tickets and just start ripping them out.
Yeah.
But you couldn't request a ticket, could you? Like a
you could request a section. They had different booklets with sections in them.
Oh, okay. There you go. Riveting.
Yeah. So then you get into, when do you guys like remember? So, early 80s for you guys, where was the Ticketmaster and the Ticketron? You just said one was in Sears, of all places.
Eastgate Mall, which was our mall when we were mall rats. That was our place to go. You also had the was it McAlpin's, which wasn't then a Lazarus. It was down on Beach.
No, McAlpin. I was Shillitoes, not McAlpin's.
Shillitoes. There you go. That's where we camped out for the Night Ranger shows. The only other show I ever spent any time in line before they went on sale was Bon Jovi, 1986, Slippery When Wet, or 87 probably. I did not camp out, but I was there super early in the morning, and I was probably 20, 30 people back. But we were just going to Buckeye Lake, so I don't know why I even waited for tickets, because it didn't matter where your ticket was. You were just going to be standing in a field somewhere, 4 football fields away from the stage, and not knowing if the band's even on the stage at that time. But hey, I got tickets, so.
So did you guys notice a difference between Ticketmaster and Ticketron?
Yeah. It went from being a quarter service charge or 15 cents initially for Ticketmaster or Ticketron. When Ticketmaster kicked in, it was like $1.50 service charge. And that was everything.
Yeah.
Now your ticket wasn't $12.50 or whatever. It was $14,
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, and the tickets themselves physically were printed on a shinier stock with Ticketmaster. Ticketrons were a little more of a matte finish.
So here. Now this
wanted to show you this. No.
This is Riverbend. This was the show you guys were at. I just bought this because it's the day after the show I went to in 85, because there was no tickets for the Ohio State Fair show. But so this would be Ticketron.
Yes.
Yep.
So there's Night Ranger, August 19th, 1985. $15 for the ticket.
Yeah. It didn't matter where you were sitting. It was $15, right, Brent?
This is
right,
because we were
center,
front row, second row, and paid $15. There was no dynamic pricing, none of that crap. I mean, nowadays you can't even get a lawn seat for that kind of money.
No.
Well, $15 back, now I bet that's probably close to, I mean, it's still not bad, but probably $45 with inflation. When you talk about, probably getting tickets through like the Reds or whatever, my uncle took me to my first football game, September 13th, 1987. The strike season. So it was they played the first game with all the players. The second week they all went on strike. Boomer Esiason versus Gary Hogaboom in Indianapolis.
What a barn burner.
So you can see the where it's basically printed from the actual Colts. Here's a Reds ticket from 88, and I would assume this is printed again, probably maybe by just the Reds, because I don't see like anything about.
Well,
I think these were season tickets. If you look, it says season there. So I think some of my family. That's Jeff Treadway, by the way. It's autographed, but
okay. Do you know what they used to look like before that? Here, see
like
this?
Yeah, like that right there.
Okay. Do you know what that big red S means?
Is that standing room only, or is that rain check?
No, that meant season tickets. And we found out, like when we were in third grade, we'd save all our ticket stubs. If we had season tickets, my dad got them from the office. So we would save all of our ticket stubs, my buddy Randy and I, and that would allow you to go to any section in the stadium. So we could go down to the blue seats and get autographs or just move about. And all we would do is we'd hold up a ticket and the usher would see the S and let us go.
That's cool.
And every now and then they call, come back here. And I'm like, what?
Well, the art was always sneaking down, wait until the ushers kind of.
Well, we tried that too. But that was the way you did it. If you had an S on your ticket, you were good to go.
There you go, guys. If you ever time travel.
Yeah.
Go to a Reds
and as you see, that's 79. They were all pre-printed. So.
And here is the Bengals 88 game. You can see probably again printed by the team. So Lisa, I mean, do you remember your first? I mean, I know you're only 29, but do you remember your first tickets that you and your girlfriends went and bought?
I remember the show. I don't remember how we got the tickets. I have no clue.
What show was that?
It was Aerosmith and Skid Row, probably 1990.
Yeah, it's probably about
Slave to the Grind era.
Yeah. Did you get arrested? Any good stories?
No, we didn't get arrested. We were late getting there. We missed most of Skid Row.
Oh, bummer.
So in our town, we had I turned 8 in 85. So obviously I wasn't buying tickets and shit, but I knew where people bought tickets, and that was at the local record store, Buzzard's Nest. So just, the epicenter in our town, probably back then, population of, maybe 35,000. But everybody went to that record store, and, you would have, I just remember the big counter, and that's where people would buy tickets. When I got to maybe being of age to get tickets, we didn't have like a Blockbuster or anything, but the place that had the tickets then was a locally owned video rental store called Gemstone. And again, you would go, and so usually how it worked is, and Brent and Andy have told their story before, and we're going to have them tell that again. But how it would work is usually how you would find out about these shows was, and correct me if I'm wrong, is usually radio. You would be listening, and hey, August 19th, Night Ranger, blah 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 blah, tickets on sale this Friday. Magazines were so far behind in print. That they would print, hey, summer tour coming up, and some of these dates would be different. They would be changed, canceled,
or passed.
Yeah. So sometimes magazines, sometimes you would have, like, in the Columbus Dispatch, you had a thing called the Weekender, and it would have like all the events that
Yep.
week, and then also it had a column of like shows that were just announced, and I'm sure all the big cities, had something like that. But to find out where these bands were playing, there wasn't, an internet site or Facebook. It was really archaic, and sometimes you'd be like, Night Ranger, like I'd go see Night Ranger in Cincinnati, and 2-hour drive at that, and you would hear a couple months, you'd be talking to someone, yeah, I just saw Night Ranger in Cincinnati last month, and you're like, what? Like shit, I didn't even know they were there, and and so you missed a lot of shows that way.
Well, Brent and I missed Night Ranger at Bogart's.
Well, but we weren't old enough to get in anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, did you even know about it?
No, I had no clue.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
And here's the thing, too. Night Ranger played in early 83, maybe March. They played Dayton again, opening for Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for like
that's an odd combo.
The Ian Gillan, Born Again. If you ever want a fun record to listen to, grab that one. So yeah, you didn't know where these bands were going to be. I remember this is 1996. I would call Ticketmaster, and on like a break on the payphone, and they'd get on there, and I'm like, yeah, can you tell me what dates you got for Night Ranger? And they would ramble off dates, and you would just be hoping that, oh, there's a new one, around me. And the other thing
that's how we found out about the Ohio State Fair.
Yeah.
By me doing that.
The other thing that I would do, and this was probably the best, this would probably been about 96, 97, 98, is you would call the clubs. So I would call Peabody's in Cleveland, and every week they would update their answer machine or whatever. And they would just go through, August 19th.
Hello, thank you for calling.
August 19th, we got this one, blah, blah, blah. New show, September 5th, the Brent Walter Experience, and you would just listen to it, and all right, I'll call back next week. And
Bogart still does that.
I did work at Blockbuster when they had Ticketmaster, so I actually got to sell tickets for a moment. And unlike a lot of the people I dealt with selling tickets or buying tickets, I actually tried my best to find the best tickets for the person standing in front of me.
So what year would this been?
You could scour, and I was like, hold on. There's something available in this row. And I would try my best to get them what they were trying to get.
Did it have, what year would this had been?
Man,
that had to be about 92.
So when you were scouring tickets, did it have like a map of like it is now, where you have?
Yeah, I mean, it was very primitive looking, not like you see now, but you could see a version of the stage, and then the rows and what was available and what wasn't available. Now there was a button, if I remember correctly, it was commands. You typed commands, and you would they could do a command that was just best available, and they would just shit out 2 tickets for you. And
then you'd have that book that you put in front of the customers with the layout.
But you could do a little dig in a little bit, pull up the venue. And I mean, I would let them come behind the counter and like look at the screen, like, here, what do you want? I mean, totally not supposed to do that, but I was like, whatever. And then if there was a show I wanted to go to and I was opening the store that day, I got first dibs. Click, click, click. 2 tickets for Andy.
Those motherfuckers. So,
but we only did that for a short window of time. And another, a quick story on for me is I was lucky enough. My band played a venue once that actually sold tickets through Ticketmaster. So I actually have tickets of my band's name on a Ticketmaster ticket. So I think I was the one who bought tickets to the show, but I have them. So
there you go.
Well, there's tickets. That's the 80s and 90s.
Mostly Rat, Dokken, Kiss, and
tons of Rat, tons of Kiss. tons of Def Leppard, tons of Cinderella.
I always wonder, like, because, like, this is just one stack of many, right?
Yeah.
And like, I guess I kind of cherish them, like, but I always wonder, I go 100 years, no one's going to give a shit about these. I wonder where they'll be, right? Like, on like, whatever the third version of eBay is, some nerd out there, hey, I read this history book.
Your kid will have Dawson will have thrown them in the trash.
Yeah, probably fucking darts and shit. But
look at that one, Josh.
I can't see that.
Blurry.
Hurricane and King's X at Bogart's.
Yeah, someone wasn't getting laid.
Yeah.
So,
these were free. I got these free from working at a record store.
So if you wanted tickets, you had, now they changed it eventually, but you had to go wait in line at wherever this was. So if it was that Gemstone Video, you would either, if it was early, you'd wait outside the door in line. When Kroger started selling them and it was 24/7, you would just stand. They had a section and you would just stand there
at midnight.
Yes, whatever. And eventually then they started doing this, lottery system, right? So, you would get there and wait, and you don't have cell phones. So, usually, no one had like the money to buy all 4 tickets. So everybody had to show up and, give you their cash because, all of us are broke. There's no such thing as Venmo and all that shit. So usually that's all you had to stay in line is talking to your buddies about stupid shit for 2 or 3 hours. And then usually it was 10 a.m. they would go on sale. And I just remember like, hurry the fuck up, fucking mouth breathers up there.
When if you're running through the store, there's always people like, slow it down. Like, I don't have time. I got to outrun this mob.
They'll be like, would you have any ticket? It's like, shut the fuck up, get your tickets, get the fuck out of here. It's just like that line would, and then you had like the people running it half the time didn't know what they were doing. I can't log on. What am I,
Yeah.
And you just know there's
Tickets are selling.
Yeah, it's like, Jesus Christ. So, anyway, so
yeah, the good ones would go ahead and get it ready right, before they went on sale, and they just keep hitting the button for refreshing it.
Or you'd have like everybody's there for Kiss, but one dipshit's there for, fucking Michael
John Denver at the phrase or something. Like, go to the back.
When Kiss reunited, my buddy Tom and I got up at 3:00 in the morning, and we were trying to think, where can we get tickets that nobody's going to be at in line? Because Andy, I got your ticket. It was another, so we went to Thriftway in Norwood because it's
my dad's store.
Yeah, it wasn't a predominantly white area. And nothing else was going on sale. No Kool in the Gang or anything like that. So
all kinds of stereotypes.
But here's my point. And so we get there like at 3 or 4 in the morning, and there's one person standing in front of us. And we're like, son of a bitch. So the tickets go on sale, and they're getting ready to do a lottery.
Yeah. Because
there's 150 people in line.
And he's in front of them going, what the fuck you mean Kool in the Gang ain't on sale?
Well, and I'm having a fit. I'm like, no, I've been here since, we're not doing a lottery. So they pulled the first 20 people in line, and everybody wanted to get the tickets. Well, then come to find out, everybody in line was, other than me, was in line for Hootie and the Blowfish coming to Riverbend. And so then Thriftway decided, well, you're going to get your tickets last because everybody else is here for Hootie. That means I got to go out of the system and get different tickets, which is going to hurt their chances. I mean, fuck them. They're behind me. If they wanted to be here, they'd be here. So I argued and screamed and kicked and clawed. I got my way. And so the person at Thriftway said, well, why don't you, the person that was in front of me, let's let him go first and get his tickets, and then we can get yours. Fuck him. I was here number one in line. Okay.
Yeah.
So 10 o'clock hits, tickets go on sale. And she goes, how many? He says, 4. Lawn. Lawn tickets. First person in line buying lawn tickets.
Did you just punch him in the back of the head?
Oh, I about lawn.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Them Hootie fans are relentless.
Lawn tickets.
And
let her cry, man.
People out there are making decisions that probably impact the rest of us.
They can vote and sit on a jury.
So
that took so long to get to the punchline, but
Cool in the Gang. I always thought it was weird that Cool in the Gang opened up for Van Halen like 2017 or whatever that was.
I think I pulled Cool in the Gang because Andy made a Cool in the Gang reference Sunday when we had a little get together.
Timely Cool in the Gang reference.
Good shit.
I used to work with a guy when I was in this lumber business, 20, 30, 25 years ago. And his name was Cool, named after the cigarettes. So that's what he smoked. Anyways, so tell the story about and that's a big one too. Exactly what you were talking about is when the tickets would go on sale, you would try to find out what other shows are going on sale. Like hopefully it's not Hootie and the fucking Blowfish or Cool in the Gang, because then you're going to have that match of people there and it's going to suck ass. So do the where you guys went to get tickets and you got sleepy.
Go ahead, Brent.
Gosh, Andy, I don't know what prompted us to want to camp out. I don't know if it was we thought it was going to be a blockbuster morning.
Again, delusional. Brent and I always thought Night Ranger was bigger than I think they were, at least on our neck of the woods.
What are you talking about, Willis?
So we were like, man, we got to get tickets for the show. Brent, I think Brent knew when they were coming. The tickets go on sale, and dude, we're
convincing our parents to let us do it.
We're getting front row, like bullshit. It's happening, and so we did. We packed a lunch, got Brent's super spacious Chevette.
My little red Chevette.
Yeah, and Brent, tell them how it went for us.
So we're sitting in that Chevette, listening to tons of cassettes, hoping the battery doesn't run down. And no, we were outside at first on the pavement in front of the doors. Well, then when it got to be like 2 a.m, there was nobody there. I'm like, and it was getting cold. Why don't we go sit in the car? And that way, if anybody pulls up, we can see what's going on. Next thing I know, I wake up and Andy's zonked out, still sawing logs. And I look at the door and there's 50 people in line at the door. We slept through everything. Solid. And I'm shaking him, waking him up, like, what the hell? And Andy's like, why'd you fall asleep? I'm like, classic Andy. That's the way Andy treats me.
It's always your responsibility.
We drove all the way back from Toronto. He woke up 5 minutes from my house and said, want me to drive? Anyway.
I offered.
It's a true story. It was such a so and I looked at him, I was like, fuck no, this isn't going down like this. I am not going down. So and we could tell it wasn't a Night Ranger crowd because there was a lot of tie-dye and what have you.
Yeah.
And that's when I walked up and said, hey, well, what's going on sale today? Grateful Dead. And I was like, fuck this. And so I told Andy to get in line. Well, it really wasn't. It was a mob, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I just jumped in and Brent, I mean, look, I've known Brent most of my life. And Brent has an odd way of getting almost anything he wants. I mean, there's certain things I'm sure he's tried and hasn't gotten, but I mean, the determination in Brent is really something. If I there's many stories of him like, I'm getting backstage, I'm going to meet so and so, blah blah blah. So coming to these tickets, he's like, this is bullshit. Like, we waited all night. Fuck this. He's like, get in line. And I said, where are you going? He goes, I don't know, but this isn't happening. And he just took off around the back of the mall.
I said, give me your money.
Okay. So I just stood in line with all these deadheads, and we're up against the glass, and there's no line. We're all just kind of mobbed up like the Walking Dead, kind of like, and then I see the employees coming in, and Brent. He's with all the employees, like,
yeah. I'm like 100 yards away from the door, standing at the bottom of the escalators.
Yeah. And
going up. You could see through the corridor.
They opened the doors, let us all in, and Brent's just gone.
They told me I couldn't go upstairs until the doors opened.
Yeah. So
I'm doing this to Andy from 100 yards away,
Yeah. So we all rush in, and this big mob forms behind Brent. And I just casually walk to the front, stand next to him, and I was like, "Did you get him?" And he's like, "She's doing it right now." Clickety, clickety, clickety. Hands us the tickets, and they were dead center. Second row, right? We didn't get the first row, but it Riverbend.
Second row pit.
It's called the pit. The first 4 or 5 rows are called the pit. And
you probably could have just, right when they were opening the doors, pointed in the opposite direction and go, "Is that Tijuana?" And everybody would look and
look, a bunch of dancing bears.
And none of them are running. You could have just offered them a joint.
Yeah, they were running. They were running for that escalator.
Yeah, but one of the best shows we saw. I got a pick from Jack Blades at that show. That was the infamous show where we saw Jack in the opening song, I believe it was, Brent, correct me, slam his bass to the ground because it was malfunctioning.
Mm-hmm.
And he's playing. They open with 7 Wishes. Jack comes out of the genie lamp, comes out, and it's dun, 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 and the bass is just cutting in and out. And I mean, probably into the second verse, the bass comes off. Bam, distortion everywhere. Jack finishes the song with the mic, and he comes back with a new bass, and he says, "That's what we call a fuck up." And he just went on with the show. And Brent and I are losing our minds because it's cool, because Jack's cussing and slammed his bass to the ground. And
yeah, and that was the night after we saw him at the Ohio State Fair.
Yes, we had up there with one Josh Jofferson.
Yeah, that's the ticket. That's the show you guys were at.
Brent, did you go with me and my parents, right? Your parents didn't go, right?
With what?
To the Ohio State Fair?
God, your memory sucks, dude.
My mom was there.
I know. I drove you, Joey, and I, and
that sounds right.
And was it who else? There was somebody else in the car. 4 of us went up there, and I had no idea where the Ohio State Fair was. I just knew it was in Columbus.
Oh yeah. And
I remember my dad's like, "How are you going to get up there?" I'm like, "Oh, I know where it is. It's I already mapped it out. I had no clue."
Yeah, there was no GPS nor MapQuest.
And so I got in my car, got on 71 North, pulled into Columbus, and was just driving. And next thing I know, I see the entrance with that says OHIO. You walk under, and I'm like, "Oh, we're here." I had no clue on how to get there. I just fucked up and came upon it.
Yeah.
And I never told those guys because I wanted to look cooler than I was, Well,
how about this? You're the first show that you ever went to without real adults, right? Just you and your friends. Now, Robin, again, you probably had some type of assistance, but how it was like an adventure.
Yeah.
I remember, I'm in Lancaster. Polaris just opened. We're going up to see Metallica. I have no fucking clue, right, of how Columbus is laid out. I think, someone told me, take 270 and then you take 71, and right. And, I'm looking at signs, and we made it, but, I had no idea, if you gave me a map kind of where I would be. Now it's like the easiest fucking drive. I can, drive there in my sleep. I probably have, but, so if you're out there listening, if you, leave a comment if you have that, type of story, just like Brent or myself, where, now it's just an easy drive where you would just hit your buttons on your phone. But back then it's like, okay, we're driving to some strange city and stop at a gas station, or
you would literally, I would write it down on a notepad, the exits I needed. So 71 to exit this, and this street names. That's how I would do things.
It wasn't even, I saw Rat in early 2001. God knows how I found it. I would say maybe then it was probably a website. You could go, through a website and look. But it was
I remember using an atlas.
Yeah.
Back when I was 10,
Well,
we went to Niagara Falls, and I remember using those huge atlases.
Will help you maybe for like the high state
on.
fair, but not for some rinky-dink club on some backcountry road in Wheeling. It will just get you to Wheeling, and then you're
good luck.
Hoping. But I remember we drove. We asked someone like, yeah, go down these country roads, and we go down some country roads, another gas station, ask them again, and literally we're seeing Rat in this bar in this valley between two mountains, probably 5 miles outside of Wheeling, in the middle of winter. Like Rat had to hike down the mountain or whatever. We saw their bus parked at the top because they couldn't. It was so snowy they couldn't get down. But anyways, that was 2001.
Well, that's what we did when we went to opening night in Allentown, Pennsylvania for Kiss on the Revenge Tour. We had to go to Stabler Arena, and all I did was map out how to get to Allentown, Pennsylvania. I figured I'd figure it out once I got there. I remember pulling into a store called a Wawa.
Yeah.
Never forget the Wawa. Yeah. And I'm like, where the hell is Stabler Arena? And I literally went on this country road up a hill and went through it was like a forest with just a road. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's a university on the left. We got there an hour and a half before showtime. We left here like at 6 a.m.
It's like the wild, wild west back then.
But it was fun. I mean, the stories we have,
Well, it's like too. It's like almost like you would get your tickets, and you may have like the little booklet where they would show you maybe where you sat. But if the show's 3 months away, you don't really quite remember, right? So it's kind of like, when you're in a relationship and, you go to Christmas and, the woman, hey, this is from, gives a gift to your buddies or whatever, or family. This is from us. And you're just as surprised, as they are, because you have no fucking clue what they got. That's how it was with the tickets. Like you get the tickets and then you show up and like, all right, where am I at? You're going and trying to figure out. And like I remember the first, I think, tickets I bought on my own was Damn Yankees at Vets Memorial, end of '92 in Columbus. I'd gone to other shows and stuff, but always, an aunt or someone buying them. And I just remember going to, it might have been Gemstone still at the time, but I want 2 tickets to the show, and they told me how much, and I had no idea what, really where it was. I couldn't even drive at the time, but I had no idea where the seats were or anything like that. But and that's the show right here. Damn Yankees, Slaughter, and Jackal. Jackal was just starting out, and I went out and bought their cassette the next day. They were fucking.
That's a redneck starter kit right there.
If you'd lived in Cincinnati, you could have seen Jackal about every 3 weeks at Annie's down here when they weren't signed.
Yeah. So 1850, $225 service charge. The show was Wednesday, December 16th. And on these older Ticketmaster tickets, they put down the date that you purchased them.
Yeah.
So if you look here in the corner,
I remember
December 8th. That's when I bought that. So about a week before. I was in the balcony, aisle 3.
Okay, Josh, I got one for you here. And that's not going to no. Yeah, God dang it. I hate going to the back. Let's see if I think you were at this show. Let me turn that sucker off. None. This is the Polaris Amphitheater. Front row, pit, section B. I'm trying to see the date. July 29th, 1994. Motley Crue with John Corabi as the lead singer.
So, I got that album the day it came out. Me and my, it was such a build up for it, all those years.
With the Motley Crue one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hooligan's Holiday had been released for about a month or so, probably, and I just thought that was fucking awesome. So, actually, I bought it some reason I bought it the second day. The first day, my buddy came into school with it, and he, I was like, oh fuck, I didn't get to go get it, so I'm looking at the cover and everything, right? And then the next day or that afternoon, I went and got it, and I brought it in.
You get the yellow or the red one?
Well, I got the yellow one. He had the red one. We didn't realize it at first, like, wait a second, these are different, and then realized we each had different covers. I had tickets to that show, and I wasn't, my parents were home or something, and I wasn't supposed to have girls over, and I had girls over, and somehow it got found out. And for punishment, my mom was going to take my Motley Crue tickets away. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this can't happen. So for a while, I hid them. I had posters on the wall, right? I taped them to the back of a poster. I thought that was fairly, good. But after a while, just the bitching and stuff was just like, all right, here's the tickets, whatever. I had to sell them, I think, to someone, right? But that was my punishment. I just couldn't go to that show. Or maybe I couldn't go see Motley Crue. So I was like, well, I told her, like, the next day, whatever the next day was, they were playing in Louisville. Again, you got to call Ticketmaster. You got, Louisville.
They're
Louisville,
playing in the theater there, if I remember right.
It wasn't King's X. It was just Typo Negative and Motley Crue. And Louisville might as well been Mars. It's like my car wouldn't make it. So we had to drive my buddy's like fucking 1979 Dodge truck that got like it took like my whole 2-week paycheck to get down there, gas wise. But we drove down, found the theater, and saw Motley Crue and drove back. But no, I wasn't at that show, unfortunately. But I did get to see John Corabi and Motley Crue. Here's one for you, Robin. Def Leppard.
At Cooper Stadium. I was there.
You know who opened for him?
What year was that?
Yeah, I don't know.
1993, August 27th.
Tesla, right?
Was that Ugly Kid Joe?
It was.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, I think Whitfield Crane got arrested or something. Here is Night Ranger at the first Blitz Fest. Sunday, September 5th, 1993. $7 with $1.50 service charge.
God, $7.
Here, I saw Metallica with long hair.
Yeah, I did too. I almost got beat up by the Metallica fans. So I went to see the Cult open for them. And when Master of Puppets came on, and I was like 5th row, I was in the pit. And I stayed long enough to see a little bit of Metallica, watch the Injustice for All stage, blah, 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 blah. And when Master of Puppets came on, every time they said Master, I yelled, Bader!
Sorry. I saw Suicidal Tendencies, Danzig, and Metallica for $18.
That'll get you a frowny face on the internet. Right, Robin?
And this was the first year that Polaris had opened. And the lawn, was sod. And during the show, people are picking up strips of that sod and tossing it into the seats. Well, that shit's heavy. So if you're farther back in the lawn, it's not hitting the seats. It's hitting us down at the front of the lawn. And I just remember kind of looking over my back, right? Just keeping an eye out. And turn around, and I just see this fucking huge piece of fucking dirt and grass, and I duck real quick. And there's a guy I was with, Kyle. I haven't even probably seen him since that show. He's in front of me, and I see this strip of sod hit him on the back of the head, and each, it was like rectangle, and each side just went around.
Yeah, it's
and
a wrap.
smacked both sides of his face. And then I just remember, James Hetfield, chewing everybody out. They just built this place for you, and you're tearing it up already. Here, I saw. This is kind of a little bit off subject. We're talking more about the shows, but I saw Pride and Glory with Zach Wilde, Ted Nugent, right out of Damn Yankees. This is August 6, 1994, and Leonard Skinner at Polaris. And I just at the time I thought, Leonard Skinner, they're old, right? And it's hard to believe it wasn't. It would be like that plane wreck, that killed Ronnie Van Zant, Steve Gaines, all of them. That would be like that plane wreck happened in 2006, and I'm seeing them now. And back then it was like 1994. It's like that happened all the way in 1977.
Yeah.
I saw a meme about a month ago that said that 1985 song by Bowling for Soup would have it's been as far away from 1985 at that point as that song is from today.
If they wrote it today, they would be singing about like 2006.
The year they wrote it. Yeah.
Yes. Here's a.
I remember when it came out. I was obsessed with it.
And then if you got small clubs, again, you didn't have like the internet and stuff. I'm at Dream Theater, Halloween night in Columbus, and I had a Kiss shirt on, and this dude comes up to me and goes, "Hey man, our band's opened up for Peter Criss in a couple of nights and blah 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 blah," and he pulls out tickets. And I look at it, and again, it's just credited by the venue.
Yeah.
And
that same Mansfield.
Yes. And I was like, I'll buy one. Again, Mansfield might as well be fucking Mars. I had to get a buddy of mine who was older to drive. And it was like this. It says Mansfield Commerce Center, but I think it was like an old like livestock warehouse. Like you went in like a grain elevator or something to go up to like a third floor, and then you went up and it was like just like a big empty area, and there was like a stage that was maybe like that built into like the wall, maybe like a foot and a half, off the ground. And there's some local bands. The next thing you know, there's Peter Criss. Ripe old age of probably like 45 or something.
Yeah.
Singing off his crappy songs off a solo.
I was right there. And but again, that's how I would never have known Peter Criss at some fucking, Mansfield Commerce Center. That's how you found out about it. Some dude saw my Kiss shirt and
yeah, I've become friends with people like that just because of like whatever I'm wearing. Tattoos.
Andy, I got a story that you're not going to remember.
Awesome.
And I'm trying to find the ticket stub to it right now. Once upon a time, Rob Tipton and I camped out for the very first Van Hagar tour. Van Halen. They were coming to the Cincinnati Gardens, and we camped out at Van Lunen's up in Amelia.
Van Lunen's.
And they went on sale Saturday morning. And I think we were like 10th in line, and there was probably 250 people camped out in front of that store. And one guy had brought a guitar amp and a guitar, and he was jamming all night long, plugged it into an outdoor fixture, what have you. It was just one huge party. The police just kept coming and checking everywhere. I mean, everybody was cool. And I remember going over to that Hardee's across the street, Andy, like at 5 a.m. when they started doing breakfast.
Yeah.
And we're waiting in line at the breakfast thing, and I looked down, and there was $100 bill on the floor. And
turned it in.
I picked it up, and Rob's like, "Where'd you get that from?" Because I didn't have your money yet, because I remember you were going to come up and hand us some money so we can get your ticket. And Rob's like, what are you going to do with that? I'm like, well, if we go back to the crowd and say who lost $100, everybody's going to lose $100 at that point. But nobody said anything. There was one girl screaming and crying that she'd lost $30. This was a $100 bill. She lost $30. She couldn't find out where's her 30.
Right,
so everybody
you
went through
30, and now you have 70.
But everybody, no, I didn't find her 30. But everybody in line gave her like $1, and she was able to get her $15 ticket, or you know what I mean. So it was no big deal. But I remember Andy coming up, and he goes to hand me my money, and I went, no, don't need it. What do you mean? I'm like, I can't tell you right now. I don't need your money. You don't remember that, do you?
Not at all.
Not at all. Because I was able to buy all 4 of us tickets with that $100 I found.
I don't even think I remember going to that concert, but I had the shirts. I know I must have been there.
Yeah, we went there. The album wasn't even out yet. Yeah. We saw them like 2 weeks before the album even came out. So they're doing best of both worlds, and we're like, yeah.
Yeah. Sounds about right for me.
So
about playing, of course.
So do you guys remember the first show where you were like, shit, that's kind of expensive? Like for me, it was Van Halen Balance Tour. And they're going to be at the Nutter Center, waiting in line. Best available. And I'm not sure what they said, but I said, I had to be one of those guys. We can't do that. So it must have been 4. And they gave
next
us
best available.
They gave us, like the next level or whatever. And it was $27.50 for the ticket. This was 1995. $4 service charge. So I just remember $31 fucking dollars. And it wasn't even the most expensive ticket. Now the good thing was it was front row side stage. So, we ended up lucking out.
Yeah.
Probably just because no one was buying that yet. But that was the first show, like, I remember seeing an increase, like, whoa. Because even the Kiss tickets, they were, the good tickets were still right around $29, which was, again, a lot of money for that reunion tour.
Here, I can pull some of those out here in a second. I got tons of those.
See, I want to know the perspective of that, but with knowing that those bands are not in their prime. Like, it is so much more expensive to see Kiss not in their prime, Def Leppard not in their prime. But you get to pay under $20 for all these amazing Van Halen and Bon Jovi.
I mean,
in the time that it matters. Like,
Brent and I saw Def Leppard.
I wish, dude.
We saw Def Leppard as an opening band.
We saw them open for Billy Squier on the Pyromania tour.
Like, they were just openers, and I'm like, holy shit. I mean, we saw them on the Hysteria tour. What were those tickets, Brent? $20? Maybe
the $30 back in the
biggest
80s tickets,
tour they did,
front row, like wham.
There is the Billy Squier Def Leppard ticket right there.
I know that was like the first shock, but like I wonder how you guys really think about that.
We were lucky. We were very lucky.
For example,
$10.50
all in their prime.
For example, 1993 August, Def Leppard field tickets, right? So again, this is a minor league baseball stadium. The stage is out in center field. So our seats were, on the field, somewhat decent. Ticket was $20, $250. And
the
so
year I was born.
I said I saw Metallica
30 years ago.
1850, Motley Crue 1850, Leonard Skinner, Ted Nugent, Pride and Glory, Pavilion seats, $14.50. I saw Aerosmith and Collective Soul pavilion seats, $23. And that's what I was saying, where then you get to Van Halen, $27.50 plus $4. So you go from $22 for Def Leppard field tickets to almost, to $31. And
it's just reverse. Like today's prices are worth seeing them in their prime back in the day.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, because like now you're seeing, and not, I mean, Def Leppard still sounds fine, but yeah, they haven't had a hit in 30 years.
Well, to see them with Steve.
And yeah, it's almost Steve Clark. I mean, Josh, real quick, your point that the first show that I was going to buy, I did not buy tickets for, that I was flabbergasted by ticket prices, was the Eagles' Hell Freezes Over tour.
Well, they were $100,
and I was like, I want to see the show so bad, but there's no way on earth I'll ever pay $100 for a concert ticket.
Well, I remember bitching because of these Kiss tickets, because you, Josh, you were talking about the Kiss reunion tour. This ticket is Dayton, Ohio, Section B, July 17th, 1996, $39. And then I saw them on October 18th, 1996. They went up $1 to $40. And $40 was a shit ton of money.
So here's a show. Here's a show. Usually, if you went to clubs, $15 or under, right? And I remember I went and saw Black Sabbath with Motorhead, Flotsam and Jetsam, and Fear Factory opening. And it was $20 for the ticket plus $3 for the service charge. And I was just thinking, I'm in a club paying $23. That's how much it costs to go to like Polaris and shit.
You're like, this is bullshit.
And that's the first place I ever lost probably my hearing because of Motorhead. Like Motorhead was the one show I've seen where it hurt. And I was like front center. So like the PA is not even coming at me. It's going by me. And it hurt. Like I was at the point where I was going to have to leave, and then the show was over. And I was right in front of Lemmy. So he's just right there. I'm getting spittle and all kinds of shit on me from him. Spades, and it's just like, I'm like, look like a fucking just soaked with shit. I did get his guitar pick. But here you go.
Yeah.
$12.50 for Night Ranger at the Newport.
Yep, I just saw that one in my stack here.
1995. And then
I got two blasts for the past. Andy, this one is going to really floor you. In fact, we were on the floor. We were row H on the floor for this. Iron Maiden, Peace of Mind tour with brand new band Quiet Riot opening up.
Mm-hmm. I got a drumstick from Nico at that show.
And here's 1995, Bryan Adams and Survivor.
There you go.
That was
snapshot of the 80s right there.
That was the height of Bryan Adams right there.
Yeah, I mean, so Robin, let me ask you, because you really didn't, you weren't even born till the Ice Band's prime was over.
Mm-hmm.
How hard is it for you to long for, I mean, we can go on and on about stories of seeing, Dokken in their prime opening for, whomever, and seeing Rat with Poison. And, these
Rat
guys
Poison.
were just, it was the Rat Poison tour. And it was, Poison was the opening band, and Brent had got us backstage passes for it. And there's stories behind that. But I mean, we got to live this amazing heyday of music. And for most people, like my daughter at 18 could give two craps about my era of music. But you're a younger person who actually really does enjoy that era of music. Like, does it, I don't know, I won't say does it hurt, but I long for bands that I never got to see. Like I never got to see a Led Zeppelin, and I'm not a big Zeppelin fan, but it'll never happen. I'll never get to see Queen because I missed out on those things. So how hard is that? Like, does it just eat at you? Like, God, you guys suck. All of you just suck.
That's why going to shows helps so much, because even if it's not like them back in the heyday, like speaking of Dokken, like just like that one time that I got to hang out with him for like an hour at like before and after the show was just like, this is the coolest. Like that's like me. That's like the only way I can time travel, that and putting on my vinyl or something.
Yeah.
But it helps me feel like I was actually a part of it, because, I've actually had personal, like with Rob Halford, like handing me backstage passes during Breaking the Law. Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
There's poison around, Andy.
We can't see it.
I know.
So, Robin, how old were you in 2001?
That was actually my first concert. I was 8, and it was a week after 9/11. I went and saw Backstreet Boys at the Wolstein Center.
Wow.
So it's like you didn't even get to see, like, you know, you're talking about seeing bands in their prime, like you like didn't.
The only band I really seen their heyday, like in their prime, the only bands I've really seen like that are Steel Panther and Ghost right now.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Steel Panther's not even real.
But like I was all hanging out.
You didn't even get to see like their second, third, or fourth primes, right? Like, you know, like where they're like, and then you get, and then you're like
Joe Elliott looks the best now than he has in the last 10 years.
Except for his hair. I think his hair looks horrible.
Platinum hair is kind of got to go.
I think he needs a different style.
Different style. I don't care about the platinum. The Jennifer Aniston look doesn't work for him.
I saw Doc,
but he's had that for so long that it's kind of normal to me.
Yeah.
But I saw Doc in 2001, and I just remember like, this is just okay. And then, you know, you see Dawkins now, and it was like,
it's hard.
Fucking watching Mozart or something in 2001. I'm like, they weren't as bad as they could have been in 2001.
I've seen Dawkins on bad and good days.
This Dawkins ticket.
And I call bullshit of you hanging out with Don Dawkins for an hour because I know it don't take fries to cook that long. So,
oh my God.
This Dawkins ticket
harsh.
Is actually a Sammy Hagar ticket when Dawkins opened for them, Andy, in Dayton, Ohio, on April 5th, 1985. Remember being front row for that?
Remember that?
I remember that.
This is when I started working at the record store, and they gave me, and I called up Electra Records, and they gave me like 4 free tickets. So I was like styling, bringing all my friends to the concert for free. And Andy, this one will interest you.
Well, that was
June 24th. Go ahead.
It was festival seating too. So you could fight your way to the front. I mean,
we were front.
After the Who concert, that was really frowned upon, but we made our way to the front. Very uncomfortable. We were kind of smushed, but we were front row.
June 24th, 1984, $11.50. This was the Scorpions' Love at First Sting tour with a brand new band, Bon Jovi, opening up.
Was I there?
No, you weren't there. It was Joey and I.
I don't remember that one at all. Like, I mean, I know my memory's shite, but I don't remember that one.
And here's one I camped out for, January 22nd, 1985. Prince of the Revolution with Sheila E.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, the one thing we haven't talked about when we were talking about camping out for, you know, what it was like to get tickets. I remember my sister's friends all paying me to camp out to get Madonna tickets. The only time Madonna ever came to Cincinnati on the Like a Virgin tour. And I camped out. I think I made $50 that night. It was fantastic because they all didn't want to, and it was in the wintertime. They didn't want to wait in the cold, and I didn't give a shit. You know,
easy 50.
Yeah,
you know,
hang out.
$50 back in 1985 was a lot of money, as you can see. You know,
it paid for your Madonna ticket.
Yeah.
So, Ozzy Osbourne, early 1996, 2150. So even then, and that's at the Nutter Center. Styx on their reunion tour with Kansas at Polaris, $25. That would be like about right, you know, like, okay, I can spend $25. 28, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, but you know what's so fantastic about that era? When Damn Yankees came out and they toured with Bad Company, they did cheaper tickets. Remember that? They made a big deal about it being a co-headline tour, and it was like I forget what they called ticket relief or something like that. And I need to go find a ticket now because I remember their tickets were like $15 versus everybody being $25. Do you all recall that at all? You three?
So
there's no way I'm going to remember that.
At the height of grunge, 1996. So the bands that are struggling, like Great White.
Spinal Tap. Sorry.
Great White at the Newport Music Hall, July 1996, 10:50. So you could go, these bands, again, are struggling. Again, my Kiss tickets were like 28, 29, 27. Dollars. Here we go. Stone Temple Pilots, December of 96. So Stone Temple Pilots as big as they ever got, right? $23.50 for the ticket. And these were like lower level, maybe a section or two away from the stage. And when we were talking about like, increases and stuff, Collective Soul, 1997. At Newport, $15. Night Ranger, the show I know Brent you were at. I don't know Andy if you were. June 8th, 1997, the Neverland Tour. $10.
Newport Music Hall.
Yeah.
Right there it is.
I'm sorry, I saw them in their hometown of Santa
How much was that?
Rosa.
$10.
$10 for the $2.50.
It was probably somewhat a little cheaper because that show was announced. And like 2 weeks later was the show. Now the place was packed. It was kind of cool. Like 1997 Night Ranger, that was when, again, these bands were just starting to.
Yeah, I think I bought it. Says either May 7th or May 27th is when I bought my ticket. And this show was June 8th.
No, it would be May. What's the numbers before May?
A27.
Yeah, mine was 24. So the big thing you got with tickets now is you kind of have like the scalping, but you have like the legal scalping where you can put them on Ticketmaster and resell. Now back then you would have ticket scalpers in the big cities, like actual like companies, and you could call and they would sometimes advertise tickets. And I remember Motley Crue back with Vince Neil, 1997, they're doing a club listening tour and they were doing one in Cleveland. And I called them and they had 2 tickets, $80. That's a lot of fucking money, right? $80. But we took them and the tickets were $28 when whoever bought them. But we got to go see Motley Crue in the Agora Theater. So,
wow.
Front row in a little theater, they're back together and kicking ass. Another show, I kind of skipped it, but this show right here, Kiss, April 9th, 1997. We used to get a thing called the Advertiser. So I'm sure you guys probably had the same thing where you could put ads in and it would be free and they would deliver it, have all the list of yard sales and shit, right? Someone was selling Kiss tickets.
Wow.
And they had, for Fort Wayne, they had front row and second row. And my buddy Scotty, big guy, weighed like 300 pounds, right? He found them. He saw them. He's like, "You want to do them? $100." We had to think about it. Like, I call them. They only had the second row left, and they were $100. I remember like having to like seriously think about that, right? Like, are we going to do this? And we did it. And we dressed up as Kiss. We put the makeup on. Now my buddy again, Scott. Big guy. He had the curly wig and the Paul Stanley makeup and the suspenders, and I was Gene, and we were right in front of Gene. The curtain falls down. They're playing Deuce, and we're just going at it, jumping up and down. And even right before Gene starts singing, Paul came over, and he sees my buddy, and he points at him, and he's you could read his lips. He goes, "I like that." And there's a bootleg of it, and if you look at the very beginning, you see these 2 heads just going up and down. That's us with our wigs.
When was this?
April 9th, 1997. And, also, I'll share this for another time, when we get bored. But you guys can ask me about after the show. After the show, I got taken into custody, not arrested. Big difference. Taken into custody. in Kiss makeup. So I'll tell you that story some other time. But oh God, that was a long night.
Demon.
But yeah, that's how you would do, the scalp tickets. You would either, go through, like I said, there'd be advertisements in the paper, or there'd be, companies that actually, did that kind of stuff. Rat at the Al Rosa Villa, 1997 Halloween, $16. Cinderella at the Al Rosa Villa, March 13th, 1998, $17. Jeff LeBar about kick my ass because I think I called him Fred. So another show that like hit the next thing, Van Halen going to be in Cleveland with Gary Sharon, May 17th, 1988. But he's like, you want to go? I'm like, yeah, just give me a ticket. I'll pay you. Fucking ticket was 45 fucking bucks. Unheard of with $3 service charge. So it was $48. That was the first that was another layer of what the fuck. Here's
okay.
Here is LA Guns and Gilby Clark at Annie's, November 11th, 1998. $8.
You said 8?
Yeah. Now the first $50 ticket was Kiss on the Psycho Circus tour, December of 98.
Yeah, I've gotten to see a lot of 80s bands too for like 30 and under or 20 and under or whatever. So I've lived a little bit, like Faster Pussycat, Enough's Enough,
So
I know
today's like equivalent, right? Like a cheap concert, what? Under $50 if you can get a ticket, right? Is that
well, it depends. I don't know. I mean, I used to compare House of Blues to being like $30 or so, because that's what I used to see Steel Panther for. But I used to see like Ghost for that.
Why are you
too,
paying $30 for not a real band?
Oh my God.
Okay. I'm going back to what I was saying about the Damn Yankees.
The Green Day ticket that I was telling you about. My friend he used to work at House of Blues, and was like, for when they were being inducted in the Rock Hall, he's like, they're going to do a show that they're not even announcing it till next week, but beyond that shit. And I was on that shit, dude. And they announced it like 2 days before that they were doing this like little because Green Day is Green Day, they like their little small punk shows kind of thing. And I still couldn't even get a ticket to that, but then he had told me to come outside and there's all these stars, so no, I wasn't waiting for tickets. I was just waiting to see people, and yeah, it's all a lot of people.
Rentry, what you got there?
No, I kind of screwed up. I had some Damn Yankees tickets here, and I was going to compare it, but then I realized something ain't right, because this is my Def Leppard ticket from 1993 at Cooper Stadium. That ticket was $20 at the time, and the same year for Damn Yankees. And this is 1993. That was only $17.50, but then I find a Damn Yankees ticket from 1990, November 3rd, 1990. And this ticket was $18.50.
So it's just a venue thing too. Is it?
Well, no, but they made a big deal about it being like because they came back to Cincinnati that year, and the tickets were cheaper than that even. And that's what I'm trying to find the ticket to compare it to. Mm-mm. And I thought I found it, and then I realized I didn't. So I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Apology accepted. So when I talk about like these 80s bands, kind of like, where 95, 96, you had the Eagles and you had Kiss, these 70s bands being able to sell out arenas during grunge. Remember I just said something about Cinderella being at the Al Rosa and Rat at the Al Rosa. It hadn't quite hit for those bands yet. Same with Motley Crue. I saw Motley Crue February 27th, 1999, in Dayton at the Memorial Hall. Weird place, maybe 3,000 people.
See, I will tell you, I kind of remember that Low Resurgence. One of the first songs that I heard was "It's My Life" by Bon Jovi. I think that came out in 99.
No, that's like 2002. I think, right?
Maybe
someone look that up. But
now too, right? By Def Leppard. Okay, that it would be 2002.
You had Promises got a little bit of airplay.
Yeah,
that was
in
99. Yeah.
But I think that Bon Jovi was a couple years after that. But so February of 99, Motley Crue is playing this theater in Dayton. In between that, a girl I was dating took me to go see DC Talk, and all I know is like water boiled every time I walked by. But in July, Motley Crue and Scorpions are at Polaris. That was where it was suddenly like, 15,000 people compared to 6 months ago, 2,500. And that to me is where, again, the next year, Motley Crue's at Polaris with Megadeth.
Hey, for what it's worth, It's My Life came out in May of 2000.
All right.
Just you said look it up. I looked it up. Not trying to prove anybody right or wrong. I just happened to be.
I knew it was right around there.
I just knew it wasn't the 90s. I know it was like, in the 2000s.
I was with you 2002, but I was like, let me look that up while we're talking. While you guys are chattering.
Well, when was it? Did you say May?
May 8th, 2000 was the lead single from their 7th studio album, Crush, which is
which was produced
good album
by the guy who produced the unreleased Damn Yankees record, the third record, Luke Eben or something like that. Here's that Rat ticket. Remember I told you I saw Rat, wheeling in the middle of nowhere. The Crossroads. Anybody ever been to the Crossroads in Wheeling?
I'm not sure I've ever been to Wheeling.
Yeah, me either.
I started hearing banjos play going through that area.
Not on purpose.
In the
All right. So here, early 2000s, the thing I liked about Wheeling, there was a place called the Capitol Music Hall, and they had this thing called Jamboree USA. Every Saturday night was a live radio broadcast, and they would have a country music star come out and play live for about an hour and 10 minutes. So again, they did their own ticketing. So I would see when a show would go on sale, and right when they went on sale, I would call that venue, and I could get front row seats to go see all these, Dave Allen Coe, John Anderson, all these guys. Another thing, they sold sports mugs, like, hey, I'm going to run a marathon, and the old sports mugs with like the twisty straw.
Mm-hmm.
Those were $4.25 for like 30 some ounces of booze, right? And if you brought back the thing, it was $3.25. So, you would go up there after a while. You're just like, I ain't bringing that shit up. It's only $1 more, but you come back with 4 of them in your hands. There's only 2 of, me and a buddy of mine. So, how we ever survived any of those trips, that I could do a whole episode on those. Like this, John Anderson, 2002. I could do an episode on this. One of the craziest nights. Just weird shit, like some Twilight.
Is that swinging? We were swinging.
I mean, dude, I had to like, dude, I wasn't sure if I had farted or shit. Like, that farted shit. Oh, you're good. Good stuff. George Jones. But anyways, so there you go.
Big Life Tour.
87.
How much was that?
This was $15.50.
Man,
here.
that would have been a birthday show.
And there's 7 Wishes tour. We went to, Andy, that we camped out for. And this would be Midnight Madness tour.
All right, we can't see this. Don't worry about it.
There you go. Can't see it.
Just tell us about it.
Midnight Madness tour, $13.
Also, the cap that we're at Wheeling.
Yeah.
I almost got in a fight with an Oak Ridge boy. I don't know if I ever told that story, but
that's a story to have.
That's another podcast.
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah. So good stuff. So did you guys ever call and get tickets?
Had to for the 1992 Revenge tour in Allentown, Pennsylvania, because we couldn't get them here.
Okay.
I have once for Richard Marx.
I just don't see that in you, Robin. I like it.
His music.
I just did not expect that to come out of your mouth.
It don't mean nothing.
Yeah, really, it don't. But
one of the other funny, strange things I've only ever done at a Richard Marx concert was use the men's bathroom.
I've done that.
The line's way too damn long at a Richard Marx concert to go to the bathroom. That's all.
Like, I can't remember. I think it was a comedian or something, but it's like, you know, if you walk into, you know, you accidentally walk into a women's restroom, you know, it's like, get out of here, you pervert, blah, 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 you know, get the fuck out. And a woman, you know, walks in, you know, she's treated as a queen. Oh, hey, come on in, you know.
I was just like, lights too long there, just like, ha. And then like, that was it.
I was at, I think it was the Garth Brooks concert down here, and I went to the restroom, and it was towards the end, and people were kind of like filing out, but there were still a bunch of people there. And as you know, the women's room, this girl just walked right in. She goes, "Guys, ain't nothing I haven't seen before, but I'm not waiting in that line." And we're all just like, all right.
That was me at one point, yeah.
And she's like, "I'm not looking." She goes, you know, she went into a stall. I'm like, I mean, nobody missed a beat. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep. It was just like, "Ha, that's funny," and then like, yeah, nothing happened.
Yeah, but if we did that,
yeah, you know.
Like we'd walk in and be like, hey, it's all right.
I'm looking at everying. Don't judge me.
Ain't nothing I've seen before, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Except for you. I've seen you on Google.
Wow.
You know, but, you know.
I was going to say, Josh, earlier we talked about high prices
of hastily packed suitcases.
Yeah. High prices for tickets. The most I've ever spent was about $2,000, $2,500 for that trip to
California.
That was that was expensive ticket. But it wasn't just for the ticket. That was the adventure.
Well, the tickets for free, weren't they?
Yeah, to say I got in for free. I never had a ticket for the show. I never got one, but you know, that was the perks of believing some strange woman was Brad Gillis's sister and who she was, and she's like, "Come on." Like,
you know, I remember thinking, no way is that going to happen.
Sister, now suck my dick.
But here's the funny thing is back then, I don't know if you, I think you can do it now, but back, yeah, I know you can because we know people that have bought tickets from out of state. It was hard to get a ticket for an out of state venue.
Well,
I kept going to Ticketmaster, and they couldn't sell me a ticket for Petaluma, California. Like you have to call a Ticketmaster in that zone.
Here was the thing,
and I'm like, how do I find that? I mean, I'm on dial-up AOL.
So you know how most of our Ticketmaster tickets from the 80s and 90s are blue. Well, me and my uncle and a couple other people, we went and saw a Detroit Tigers game in '93, and their Ticketmasters were pink.
I guess they're different for regions.
I would guess back then.
Just the ink they have.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because look, even back in '98 when I was going to Tigers games, because
like I've got like a yellow and white or yellow and orange kind of ticket for my Backstreet Boys one from 2001, and I feel like that was something my dad actually had gotten through the early days of the internet.
Yeah,
Josh, that's Ohio Center Kiss Asylum tour, purple.
Is that the one where they played Round and Round by Rat?
Yep. Just about 10 seconds of it.
Yeah,
you won't hear Rat Beef playing our songs. You won't.
So I guess another good question is, what's the most expensive ticket you've bought?
It's got to be a Kiss ticket for me.
I would say, like off the top of my head,
Kiss tickets now cost $100.
I wasn't sure if I was going to go. When Kiss announced that, that End of the Road tour, they were playing Lexington, and I just kept watching tickets, and like fourth row or a third row ticket finally lowered down to like $250. I'm like, you know what? Last tour of Kiss. Now we didn't know COVID was going to hit and all that shit, but I got the ticket for $250 and then snuck down to the front row, and so I was $250 for a front row Kiss ticket. You can't beat that. But off the top of my head, that's the most I spent. I remember, I mean, not that it's the most, but I spent $100, a little bit over, on Fleetwood Mac tickets, and we were like upper level.
Yeah,
you know, like it's like, and that's starting to become a norm. Upper level seats, 100 and some bucks. It's.
I hope nobody from Night Ranger watches this episode. Want those guys to pay that for King's X?
I mean, I paid front row tickets in Brown County, Indiana, for me and Greenaway.
Yeah. Well, that's a great story.
Yeah,
all on its own.
Meet and greet, though.
It had the meet and greet and the ticket, but I don't remember the cost of the ticket. I know my overall purchase was like $600 total.
Well,
individual tickets. I mean, I've taken my daughter to see Taylor Swift. That's not cheap, no matter how you slice it. My wife has paid crazy amounts for tickets for us. I mean, she paid like $700 for Elton John tickets.
Yeah, but that's cheap compared to
I mean, we were
care of you.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair exchange, I think.
Andy's must have like a 13-inch dong or something. Lisa,
one of those numbers is right.
Lisa, what's the most you paid on a ticket? Now, Daryl, not that Daryl knows, to give us the real answer.
Oh, he's the one that buys my tickets. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. It was probably the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction when Journey got inducted. We paid like $2,000 for tickets.
I was there
for two.
Oh, were you when Journey got inducted?
I was way up.
we were pretty close. We were off to the side, but we were like down lower.
Yeah. I bought just the regular. I mean, but I think my tickets were probably $100 and something. Way up.
Yeah. Ours were about $1,000 a piece.
Yeah.
But I wasn't missing it. So
I remember I had tickets to probably the cheapest tickets I had was a band. It was, I think, in Cincinnati called Touch of Madness. And
horrible. If you paid to see them, you were robbed.
And they've actually never played a live show. So you know you're lying.
I had two tickets. I'm like, I don't want these motherfuckers, right? So I put them on my windshield when I parked at Kroger's. Just put those two tickets out there. And I fucking came back out. There were fucking 3 more.
Yeah. That sounds fair.
Those are old Bengals ticket stories.
Anyways, Touch of Madness was a band Andy had recorded a record, very underappreciated.
Yeah, there you go. Promote the shit out of that. We need those 10 cents off of iTunes.
They were called Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, DC Comics did not.
And then when Gary put that on iTunes, he changed the name to Touch of Madness.
Yeah,
it was either that or Let Him Run.
Yeah. 4 guys in the morning.
Rock and Robin, what's the most expensive ticket you've bought?
The
$500 Blaze Bailey.
Oh my God, stop. Blaze. No. You guys have no idea about that.
I got ideas.
Yo. Anyway, no. No, Blaze liked me a lot when I had seen them. That's not the story. I think it's Alice Cooper, though. I spent $600 to do the meet and greet and everything, but I think it came with a ticket.
Yeah.
Meeting him is the only driving force, though, with that. And I feel like and it was a gift, but my dad had spent like $750 for the Def Leppard one.
Wow.
And Rick Savage was sick.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
I love Sav.
I love Sav.
Here's another thing. It's like you think back, to these times and you're like, wow, like they never thought of meet and greets?
Mm-hmm. All those years.
Or like Paul Stanley just handed his broken guitar out at the end. And it's
I have one upstairs.
Now you have to pay good money for that.
Yes. So,
I was going to mention when she did the meet and greet thing. Yeah, in 2004, I paid $1,000 to go backstage for the Kiss picture, and I think I had like 5th row pit.
Did it come with a ticket?
It came with a ticket.
Yeah.
And the way it worked out was the way my ticket was. It was in the 5th row, but the way the pit wrapped around, I ended up being front row. I was the last seat on the end in the pit.
Yeah.
They put me around in front row, right in front of Tommy Thayer.
Fake ace.
The spaceman. So like the first like thing I remember these places doing that was a little bit like extra was the Newport Music Hall had a Subway inside. And what you would do is you would buy like a pre-show party ticket. And basically what it was.
This can't be good.
Hold on, let me see if I got one in here.
Oh, it's gonna be a half a foot long and a Pepsi.
There's nothing good about Subway.
And it was, but you would, it would get you in the doors a half hour early.
Yeah.
Now the only thing that sucked is a lot of time they would sell the tickets like, before everybody came in. Most people would do it, but yeah. So that added $2.50 to your bill, but that's the pre-show party. You would have to get that. So that was the first thing I kind of remember, just like as an add-on.
Can't you kind of do that at House of Blues? Can you go and have dinner before the show, or does that still not get you in?
I don't know if they still do it anymore, but if you spent $20 in the gift shop or in the restaurant, you just were able to do like
go right to the stand.
Yeah, it was like a other line, but you still had to wait for the doors to open.
I feel like I did that once for Night Ranger.
Everyone waiting since 2-3 o'clock, which is what I would do too, just for the show.
Yeah, I would go grab a burger and then sneak in and
then go through that. Yeah.
And it's funny too, like you think about like, I don't know when it was, Motley Crue tour, maybe 2005, 6, 7, somewhere in there. They do the meet and greet, and it was like $400, right? And you got to meet the band and probably got a premium ticket, and like, I ain't paying that. And now it's like, that's.
I wish it was $400.
Yeah, it's considered cheap.
And Tommy doesn't believe in meet and greets. And now Mick's not even there anymore. And
now the Night Ranger meet and greet, I never really bought those because I'd met the band so many times and I just couldn't pay for I used to be able to talk to them, and now you just go up. But I did, when I came back from Liberia, I bought tickets for me and my buddy and my brother for the Night Ranger, Foreigner, and Motley or Journey, and I got us the VIP. And if I remember correctly, it was $50. If it wasn't $50, I know it was below $70. So $55, I don't know, but I think it was $50. And you got, the VIP pass. You got a signed poster, not an 8x10, but it was a poster, had all their albums on it except for Mojo. And you got to meet the band. So that's the only one, I think, like the meet and greet I bought. I don't know if I've bought
and I did that because I knew my mom had never met them, and then that was my first time finally seeing Kelly and Jack. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. I've paid for a couple of the meet and greets. I mean, clearly with Mark I did that, but I've done it prior to that just because I wanted to. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to hang out with the guys and get a picture. So now it's, thankfully, this little podcast has made that a little easier for us. But
and it used to be, before a show was always the best time to meet them. And I just remember like Collective Soul back in 95, I met him and stuff. And I have to tell you guys sometime the Ed Roland story where like he remembered me and like said hi to me on the street. And I'm like, what? But I just remember the bass player, Will, he was making the album cover has this like circle thing, and he's like making this thing while we're sitting there bullshitting. And eventually that night at the show, I saw it on his amp. But that's how you were able just to hang out with them and do that stuff. So one last thing I want to talk about is, I guess, the difference in scalping. So it used to be, It used to be, you buy tickets and you either sell them to the the companies that would advertise in the paper, or you would have the people that would be at the shows. And now you have where you got, StubHubs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You got Ticketmaster selling resale tickets. And your thoughts on that. Now, I guess I don't like it either. The thing I do like about it is when, I can't go to the show. All I got to do is, in a drunken stupor, hit a couple buttons and I can put my seats up for sale.
Yes.
And a lot of times I make money off of it because they're decent shows. And, I remember I bought 4 tickets for KISS, Columbus 2019. And right towards the end, my buddy and his wife couldn't go. I was like, don't worry about it. They hadn't paid me for the tickets yet. I was like, don't worry about it. I can just put them on. So I just looked at a little bit what they were going for. And I just put, if I paid $200 for them, I think I put like $350 for both, for them. And they sold, right. So hell, that made, $150.
Yeah. I love and hate it. I've sold tickets, and I also like the fact that if I want tickets to a show and then I didn't get them because it's sold out, I have an option to get tickets. What I hate is when tickets go on sale, you are almost completely blocked out by these bots. And I hate that. And I mean, and they instantaneously are up for sale and resale. And I love America. I love capitalism. I get it, but for fuck's sake, man, give the fan one shot at it. Give us a day to get tickets.
Well, what was the thing you just went through for the Marvelous 3 tickets? What do they call it? The pricing?
Dynamic pricing.
Yeah, that's ticket
prices. The dynamic pricing is basically set up to, instead of the scalpers getting all the money, the artists get the money.
Artists getting the money.
So if there's a high, the tickets are going to be $400 regardless. So what they'll do is instead of selling them for $100, and like you said, Andy, immediately they're on there for $400.
Yeah,
they will.
They just put it at $400.
They'll just put it at $400. Now the only thing is, it looks kind of bad on the artist.
Yep.
But that's the thought process behind it. Really, again, it's what are the tickets worth?
I call horse shit on it all. The band's making all the money on it, and they're doing that to gouge the fans because they don't want the bullcrap. Sell the tickets for what they're listed as, period.
Well, I'll say I agree with Josh.
I'm not going to pay $400 for a $50 ticket. I'm not doing that.
If someone's going to get it, I'd rather the artist get it than some jackwad sitting in Lancaster, Ohio.
Ooh.
But I tell you, the one thing I learned with this Marvelous 3 fiasco is, so they sold out. This is a total tangent, but they sold out 3 shows in total of 31 minutes at a venue holds like 2,500 people. That's small, but over the course of 3 days, 31 minutes total time, 3 shows completely sold out. But I went back like an hour after tickets went on sale, and I bought a front row of the balcony ticket at regular price, $45.
Yeah,
because it got released. Somebody had it in their bin and couldn't get it. So if you're willing to play a little game, you can find them. But
here's what you need to do. If the tickets go on sale at 10 and you don't get what you want, keep logging back in at 10:10, 10:20, 10:15, because what'll happen is, and this happened to me, where you get the tickets and you're going to pay for them and your credit card's expired. And then you go in and you go to enter it in, and the bank's going to send you a verification. Well, the bank doesn't send me the verification.
Right.
Next thing you know, the tickets are released. So now my front row tickets are out there. So that's one thing. And I would also tell you just to like maybe starting, I'd say 10 days before the show, start checking, because then if, a band has 50 tickets allotted to them and they only use 25, those 25 will go back to the venue and they'll put them up for sale. Usually pretty good seats. And I think what Brent was going to say, if you go the day of, like I said 10 days, but some days it may be on the 10th day. Some days, it'll get closer. But if you go the day of, a lot of times they'll again. So, let's say they got 50 seats, they've only used 25. We may use 10. So they'll release 15, keep 10. And then the day of the show, we only used 5, release the other 5. And if you go to the box office or whatever, I did that for a Motley Crue show in Columbus, Georgia, and got it, I don't know, an hour or so before the show started. And I was sitting with, Donna D'Erico and Nikki Sixx's kids and shit right on the side stage. Like everybody's coming over and like waving, like, and it's like everybody's waving back except for me, I'm like, it's like, yeah, there's Nikki's uncle and, wife. And,
yeah, but I know like down here, I was doing last minute trying to find Taylor Swift tickets while the show was going on, and they were still $500. And I was like, the show has started. It started an hour ago, and people were just holding on. I'm like, you figured they'd be like just $20 just so I can get this thing out of my pocket. And I was like, because I'll run down there and check out Taylor Swift. I'm not afraid of
another story you got to remind me about scalper tickets is the time I was in a cab in Philadelphia at a red light, and this guy's trying to sell me Phillies tickets. I wanted them, but we're bartering. And I'm like, that light's going to turn green. Take the tickets back. No, man, just 60. Anyways, so I'll tell that. No, fuck it.
I already know what it's going to be. I've already figured it out.
So my 2 buddies are already at the stadium. Me and my other buddy went back to the hotel, changed clothes or whatever, and we're in the cab. Now it's already the first inning, right? The game's already started. We pull up to, and they're in the restaurant that's right outside the stadium. We pull up to a red light, and there's a guy there, and no one around. And and we're a mile away from the stadium, but I see he has tickets. So who the fuck's he going to sell them to from here, right? So I roll down the window, like, what you got? You got 4? He's like, yeah. And he's wanting like $60 for these 4 tickets. I'm like, dude, I will give you 20. And he reaches in the window and puts them in my hand. I'm like, no, the game's already started. You're not selling these to anybody. I'll give you $20 for all 4. No, man, I want 60. I want 60. I'm like, nope, I'm not, not taking, I'm trying to give them back to him. He won't take them. No, $60. And I know that I see the cab driver kind of like looking back on the rearview mirror. And I'm like, dude, I got $20. It's all, take the tickets. That light turns green. That cab driver just hit the fucking gas, right? I just threw the $20 bill out the window.
Nice.
And my buddy, he goes, he fucking caught it. And, so that's
a task of its own, man.
Scalping tickets. And another thing, if you ever buy tickets and you want to post them on the socials, don't post your barcode, because people will take that, they will,
or that number,
or the number, exactly.
And they will make duplicate tickets, and people like Brent will.
Well, I've had to message people and say, we can post this, but you're going to want to block this out,
Yeah.
Because we know Rockin' Robin's going to steal them.
If like you're hanging out with Lisa and she's like, look at my Journey tickets, like, oh, it's cool. Take a picture of it, and then you send them out and post them. And
they actually have a lot more safeguards against like stealing tickets like that now. Like I've tried to, like I was at either a baseball game or something recently, and it was like you cannot screenshot it. You have to sign into Ticketmaster now.
I went and saw the Dead Daisies at Bogart's, I don't know, 2018, something like that, maybe. And this is the only ticket, and it wasn't like a huge show, but it had like, I don't have it here, had like a security feature in the ticket, like thin metal or something, where they would scan it.
I think I've seen that.
Have you seen the moving QR codes?
Yeah, so you got to save like your Apple Wallet.
Like it refreshes like every 45 seconds. It's like, oh wow, that's pretty smart.
Huh.
Yeah.
I remember back when I could still use mail-in options, so I could still have a real ticket, so I didn't need to print it, so it wasn't a whole sheet of paper.
Sometimes still do that with Ticketmaster. You just have to, and they don't
do
make
it
it
so
real
early
obvious.
in advance.
So no, what you do is when you're going through all the things, it actually doesn't look like a drop down, but it is, and you can choose to have them send you tickets. Now, not every show's like that.
Yeah.
Some shows are free to send tickets. Some shows you got to pay like $350. But yes, but usually you're buying tickets, you're going through so quick, you don't pay attention, and I've done that. But just look next time, and you might see that drop down option. Well, Andy's about ready to piss himself, and I'm pretty sure Brent's hungry, so we'll wrap this up. Lisa, it's weird.
You can see me the whole time.
Yeah.
No. And then so there we go. We won't have no more Max Headroom with Lisa.
No.
And the kiddo
No more Wang Chung.
The kiddo is probably out there going, God, will they shut the fuck up so I can get
well, he's grounded off his phone today anyway, so
so anyways, if you're out there, leave us a comment on the YouTube machine or on the Facebook page and let us know your ticket story, like a horror or a cool story, waking up and seeing the
camping out,
all that shit, or some scalper stuff, or the most you've ever paid for a ticket. It'd be interesting.
I'd be curious to see that.
Yeah. And especially like and if you like where I talked about Van Halen, and then the Van Halen show with Sharon, and the price is going up. If you have some of those stories as well, if you have not, and you're watching this on the YouTube, go click subscribe. Make me happy. We're almost close to 500 subscribers. If I could get to 500, I'd be happier than a dog with 2 dicks. So go there and subscribe. What else? We're on all kinds of other things. I don't know. Someone sent me a link for Stitcher or something the other day, and we got podcasts on there, but apparently I don't have the app, so couldn't help them. But Stitcher, Spotify, all that good stuff. And do me a favor too, if you don't watch this on YouTube and you're on one of those YouTube's Audio Max or whatever, go to the Facebook page and let us know where you're, outside of YouTube. I'm just kind of curious, that's why they call me Whiskers. So anyways, hey,
right in my head.
Hey, if the moon
Chapin, please clip that.
If the moon was made out of cheese, would you eat it?
Hey, you were a hot dog, would you eat yourself? I know I would.
I'm curious.
It sounds like Johnny Bravo lines.
That's why they call me Whiskers. Anyways, if you don't know what we're talking about, Saturday Night Live, Harry Carey show. But I would. Stuff. The moon was made out of spare ribs. Wash it down with a cool, nice Budweiser. But anyways, thanks for joining us. Episode, we're in the hundreds, we're in triple digits. It's hard.
This is like 117 if I had to guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
118.
How did we get to 117? It's a miracle. It's
a
miracle.
Truly do not understand how we got this far.
Well, obviously it's talking about dogs with 2 dicks and shit like that. So
yeah, happier dog.
Alien abductions.
All right.
Coast to coast AM.
All right. I'll explain it to you later. All right. Alien Jerk Off, the Eric Lee solo record. Coming to a record store near you. All right, we'll see y'all next week. Lisa,
sorry,
Robin, tell everybody out there goodbye, because they're only tuning in for you guys.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.